In honor of my house actually getting flooded with some stinky water, let's leave it at that, I decided to run Sukamon at my locals, and my opponent is playing WarGreymon.
You're in big trouble though, pal. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
No.
They hatch the Koromon, Digivolve into Agumon, and then they're just going to play the tie, passing on 3. I am then going to hatch the Pugumon. I'm going to play the Pride Memory Boost, setting them to 1. Look at the top 3. I'm going to choose to play the Garymon, and then I'm going to trash a Numemon from my hand, and I'll be able to draw 2 from that. So pretty good way to just gas up. My opponent is going to stay in Raising, Digivolve into the Greymon, and just leave me on 1. Draw, and then I'm just going to Digivolve into the Edamon and pass him back. He is going to be at 3 because the Edamon evolution costs so much if you're not on the right cards. My opponent is going to play the Agumon X. Looking at the top 3, they're able to just grab the Greymon. The other 2 are going to go to the bottom of the deck. And he still is in Raising, so he's trying to play it safe. He's going to Digivolve into the Greymon and leave me at 1 again. I'm going to draw, and then I'm going to actually crack the Pride Memory Boost so I can go up to 3. And then that way I can Digivolve into the Metal Edamon. And the when Digivolving allows me to look at the top 4 cards of the deck, and I can play Chumon, Edamon, Sukamon, any combination of them with a pay cost of 7 or less. I do get the Chumon, and then I'm going to swing with the Metal Edamon, and the first thing I hit is the X Antibody, which is going to gain them a memory and pass turn. I'm going to draw, looks like he drew an X Antibody as well. He's going to make sure that the Taikamiya effect is giving the Greymon +1 security and blocker. Then he's going to play another one, which will give him another +1000. I'm going to Digivolve into a Sukamon, and then swing with the Metal Edamon at security. See, the first check is going to be 8k, so I'm fine. Now I'm just going to play the Izzy, which is going to cost me 4. Looking at the top 3, gain 1. I'm going to make sure that I can get Chumon next turn, but I think that I don't stack this correctly for a future effect. My opponent is going to make sure that he says that the Greymon has blocker and +2000, before he plays out the Agumon, going to 0, and then Digivolving into the Greymon for free by suspending the ties. And then he's going to Digivolve into the Greymon X, so now he can actually swing for 2 checks. We see him think about this for a second. He is going to swing in, so 2 checks at 8k, and he is going to be deleted by the Metal Edamon on the first check, so that's very unfortunate for him. He's going to swing with the other Greymon as well. It's going to be a Garymon, so he's totally fine. And then he's just going to pass turn. I'm going to unsuspend the Metal Edamon, and then we finally get to Digivolve our egg into the Chumon. Then we're going to play the Cooties Kick, so it only costs 1 because I've got the Tamer out. And then swing with the Sukamon at security. I do get deleted, which will gain me 3 memory. And then we do the on deletion of the Sukamon, and I am going to see the Chumon. I could have used the Izzy to make sure that I did see it, but I just lucked out anyway. So that gets to play for free. And I do forget to actually play out the Chumon underneath the Sukamon as well. I just go into the Sukamon again, and I'm going to swing the Metal Edamon at the Greymon, just removing it from the board so that I can stave off that potential for anything big coming out and scary. Then I'm going to play another Cooties Kick on the other Sukamon, just in case he does push out, Digivolves into a Metal Greymon and deletes it. And then I'm Digivolving into the Edamon as well, so I can guarantee like a blocker if I need that as well. That's going to leave my opponent on 2. He is going to draw, unsuspend his ties, and he chooses to actually stay in Raising still. He's going to play the Agumon X. Maybe he's just missing the level 5. He is going to be able to grab the X Antibody and the Greymon X, bottom decking the Black WarGreymon. I guess it doesn't really help in this matchup. Going to be my turn. I get set to 3. I'm going to start by moving out the Chumon, so now I've got 3 bodies on board to the 2 security. I'll swing with the Metal Edamon, swing with the Edamon. Hades Force is going to come out and delete the highest play cost Digimon, which is the Metal Edamon, and then I still have Chumon on board to swing for game. And Greymon loses to a rat. Starting game 2, I'm going to hatch the Pugumon, and I'm going to Digivolve into the Chumon for 1, just choking at 1. My opponent's going to hatch the Koromon, Digivolve into the Agumon, which does cost 0, has the special conditions, and then Digivolve for 2 to put me back at 1. This does seem to be a regular theme, just being at 1 this game. I'm going to move out the Chumon and Digivolve into the Garymon, which costs 2, so back at 1 again on my opponent's side. He's going to Digivolve for 0 into the Greymon X, and then he's going to go up into the Metal Greymon. This could set up a really strong turn where he gets a free tie out as well. I'm going to hatch the Pokemon, Digivolve into another Tumon, then I'm going to Digivolve and Raising into the Sukamon, and then Digivolving again into the Edamon that on deletion can play out a Metal Edamon, so hopefully we see that come up. My opponent's going to move out. He's going to swing at security using the raid effect to swing into the Edamon instead. He can draw from Koromon, and then he's going to play out the tie, so very strong attack, able to remove that body from the board. The Tumon inheritable is going to be able to play the Tumon. The Pokemon effect is going to be able to draw the top card, but it was a Metal Edamon, so I should have done the Edamon effect first, but I am never punished. We see another Metal Edamon. I'm going to be able to play him for free. The rest go to the trash, and then we're going to be able to do the Metal Edamon effect, look at the top 4, and we can play out from that just another Tumon, so I've immediately got 3 bodies back on the field. My opponent is going to Digivolve into the Metal Greymon X. He suspends the tie, so it's completely free, and he does get to delete one of the Tumons from that, so I'm back down to 2 again. I did think he was going to Digivolve into a WarGreymon, but instead he's going to play the tie first, and then he's going to Digivolve into the WarGreymon, so it does only cost him 2. He's going to be able to reboot and then trash the top card of my security with the Metal Greymon X inheritable. And he does draw here because he forgot to draw for the evolution. I'm going to draw for my turn. I'm going to move out the Sukamon. And then, as is the standard now for BT12 decks, I'm going to Digivolve into the Quartzmon. So I'm going to be able to suspend everything but the Quartzmon himself. And then we're going to gain 2 memory. So it only costs me 4 to go into this. Things can't unsuspend, which is going to be really good against the WarGreymon. My opponent's going to start their turn. Going to hatch the Koromon, Digivolve into an Agumon. Immediately going into the Agumon X, and then he's going to Digivolve again into the Greymon, which is going to cost him 2. And then he's going to get the free Evo into the Greymon X, and then he's going to do the absolute power move of Digivolving into Omnimon X Antibody for the full 7 cost. He is going to then be able to bottom deck the Quartzmon, trashing the sources, and then he can actually put his WarGreymon to the bottom of his own deck to look through my security and then trash one of those. This is a really good play on his part because it's potentially one of the only ways that he actually had of getting rid of Quartzmon. Hades Force generally falls short. He's going to get rid of the Chikurumon in my security, so that way he can't just have a cheeky de-Digivolve. I'm going to shuffle, put my security back up there, and now I'm going to be able to start my turn. So I'll unspend my Digimon, I'm going to hatch the Pokemon, and then Digivolve into the Tumon. We're going to start with some aggression, so swing into security with the Sukamon. I do get deleted. Pokemon effect, look at the top, I'm able to add that to hand. Then Sukamon on deletion, I'm able to look at the top 3, and then grab the Tumon into hand. The rest will go to the trash, so I immediately get rid of my Izzies, which would have helped to not get choked anymore, but I'm at 7 memory, I've got a lot to work with. We'll Digivolve the Tumon into the Sukamon, doing that for 1 because of the Tumon's effect. Then I'll swing at security, I do get deleted, and I'm able to do the Tumon effect, pop him out, and then do the Sukamon effect, looking at the top 3, able to play a Tumon if I see one, do not see one, the rest go to the bottom of the deck in any order. And then I'm going to Digivolve into another Sukamon, just for the 1, and then I'm going to Digivolve into the KingSukamon. So now I have 3 Sukamon in my trash, so I'm able to turn the Omnimon into a Sukamon. And then I'm going to play the Edamon, and by trashing the Sukamon from my hand, I'm able to give the Omnimon, which is now a Sukamon, minus 3000 DP. This is a little bit of a point of contention. We are not sure if the minuses and pluses do carry over. We believe they do. My opponent said this is how he's played it before, so he was just going to consider it deleted, even though it had boosts from try and negatives. It might have still lived on 2000, but I'm not sure. If you do know, please let us know in the comments and point out where you know the ruling from. My opponent's going to move out the Greymon X. I don't think that actually getting rid of the Omnimon is going to affect him too much, especially because it costs so much to do so. He's going to Digivolve into the Metal Greymon, and it's going to cost way less because he can suspend the ties. He's going to play the Cool Boy, able to grab the X antibody from that, so he might do some swinging shenanigans. He's going to Digivolve into the WarGreymon, so that is going to cost him 3. And then he's going to be able to swing and raid into the Edamon first. That is going to delete the Edamon. He is going to pierce for a check, and he is able to unsuspend. He is then going to be able to raid again into the KingSukamon. And at this point, I do gain the 3 memory from the Cooties kick, but I do get pierced through. We see the Numemon. He's totally fine. No problems there whatsoever for him. But I foolishly forget that I can do the Tumon effect, so I don't play one out for free. It's my turn. I'm on 2. I'm going to move out the Tumon. I'm going to play a KingSukamon, and I'm going to turn the WarGreymon into a Sukamon again. With the Greymon handicapped, he can't give it the DP boost from the ties. He's going to make sure that they are unsuspended though, and likely he's just going to try and build up a secondary stack. So Digivolving into the Agumon, he's then going to go into Agumon X, and then going into the Greymon Sec Plus. And then he does go into the Greymon X, so he will have protection from certain things, and then playing out the Agumon so he can search the top 4. He does grab the Metal Greymon X, he is going to bottom deck the rest, and then he's able to just Digivolve into the Agumon X, do another search. I'm thinking at this point I might be able to just outlast him if I can keep turning things into Sukamons and deleting them. He's going to Digivolve into the Greymon, so it only costs 1, and he leaves me at 1 again. I'm going to hatch the Pokemon and Digivolve into another Tumon, and then I'm going to swing in with the KingSukamon. I really would have liked to get more Sukamon on the field to be able to swing with, that's unfortunate. Swing with the Tumon will get deleted, so using the Pokemon effect, I do not get to draw that because it's not a black Digimon. And then I'm going to hard play for 8 the DG dimension, so I can de-Digivolve 2 Digimon on field, and then I can delete 3 Digimon with a play cost of 6 or less, but that's only the Agumon, so he's still got enough bodies on board to just end the game. He's going to move out. Playing it safe, he Digivolves into the Metal Greymon X. He does suspend the Cool Boy, so he gains a memory and draws an extra card. And I think now he thinks he's confident enough to swing in, so he's going to do the top. It's just a Garymon. He would have known from checking my security before. Then he swings in with the Greymon for game. Game 3, I'm going first again, so hatching the Pokemon, and then I'm going to play the Garymon. So not a great start. I'll trash the Sukamon, drawing 2, and then my opponent is going to draw to start their turn, and then they're going to hatch the Koromon, Digivolving immediately into the Agumon, and then going into the Agumon X, so not facing any of the level 3 woes that I'm seeing. It's going to Digivolve for 2 into the EX1 Greymon, and then he's going to just play the Cool Boy, so leaving me at 1. He loves leaving me at 1. He's able to grab the X antibody, bottom decking the rest. On my turn, I'm going to hope for a level 3. I don't see it, so instead I'm just going to play the Sukamon, passing back to my opponent on 2. My opponent is going to start their turn by drawing, but then they are going to move out the Greymon, so they might actually have a level 5 this game that they can immediately go into. Going to use the X antibody option, so now he's able to swing with the Greymon and then Digivolve into the Metal Greymon X using the X antibody option. This does give him plus 3000 DP and an extra +1 to his security checks. Does draw for the Koromon, and he is going to be checking for 2 checks at 12,000 DP. There's not many things in my deck that can actually stop that, but we'll see if they come up. It does cost him 3 memory still, and first check is Tumon, second check is the Chikurumon, so we do get to de-Digivolve him. He's back to being a Greymon and suspended. I'm going to draw for my turn, I'm going to swing at security with the Garymon. Does get deleted, and I really want to be setting up my trash so that I've got enough things in there for the KingSukamon effect. Digivolve into the Edamon, I'm able to trash the Sukamon underneath him to give minus 3000 DP and -1 security to the Greymon. My opponent hatches the Koromon, remembers to unsuspend his Digimon, and then Digivolves into the Agumon. He's then going to Digivolve into the Metal Greymon, which will pass turn and leave me on 1. I'm going to Digivolve the Pagumon into the Tumon and Raising. Then I'm going to Digivolve into the Metal Edamon. This will pass turn. I'm going to be able to draw for the evolution, and then looking at the top 4 cards of the deck, be able to play the Edamon out, and if I have the Sukamon in hand to trash, be able to -1 security and minus 3000 DP from the Greymon again, just kind of putting that a turn back again. But he can still raid into things if he is able to get large enough. The other things go to the trash. Very upsetting to see the Quartz one gone, and I do have the Sukamon to trash to get that effect off. My opponent is going to start his turn. He's going to move out the Agumon. He's going to then play out just a tie and leave me at 1. So he doesn't care about that effect. He's just going to wait out the turn and set up his board a bit more. I'm going to move out the Tumon, and then I'm going to Digivolve into the Numemon just for 1. And then I am able to Digivolve into the KingSukamon. This does cost 4, so I'm giving him a lot to work with, but I do have enough in trash to make the Metal Greymon a Sukamon for the turn. My opponent hatches the Koromon, Digivolves into the Agumon. Then he's going to Digivolve into the X1 Greymon. He's going to play another tie just to make sure that he can leave me at 1. My KingSukamon is returned to me from the Abyss, and I'm going to draw for turn. I'm looking at how I can get more Sukamon onto the field at this point because I really want that Sec Plus that KingSukamon gets. Hatch the Pokemon, I'm going to Digivolve into the Doremon promo. It's a very good card. I'm going to swing at security. I'm only going to be able to do 1 check with the KingSukamon. I do survive, which is nice. I'm going to swing with the Metal Etamon, and that is also going to survive. And then Digivolve into another Metal Etamon. So I have quite a nice board. Looking at the top 4, again, the Quartzmon just going, and then I'm able to play the KingSukamon, turning him into poop once more.
I'm too old for this shit.
My opponent is going to move out the Agumon. Really didn't think the poop would get this far, did you? And then he's going to put the X antibody under the Greymon, Digivolving into the Metal Grey X, and he's going to make that cost 1 by suspending both of the ties. He's then going to swing into the KingSukamon. Just double check that he's not swinging at security for extra checks. This will delete KingSukamon, and I can draw from the Pugmon effect because it is a black Digimon. Consolidate my board, and then he's going to swing in with the Agumon just for 1 check. He does live because it's a Sukamon with only 1000 DP and security. Then he Digivolves into the WarGreymon. He's going to be able to unsuspend it with Reboot. And we've been in time and round for a little while now, so I have 4 checks on board. This is technically the last turn that either of us get. I'm going to Digivolve into the Sukamon so I can get the extra checks with the KingSuka, and I'm really trying to figure out the best way to do this. So I start by swinging in with the Metal Etamon, and he is going to think about this, does let it go through, and I don't get deleted. I thought that I did for a second there. And then I swing in with the other Metal Etamon, and I am fine again. But now I swing in with the KingSuka, and he can block that. And he unsuspends because of the redirect, and then he can do that again. I do get deleted. I can do all the extra effects, but it really doesn't matter. I think the only thing that saved me there was the Quartzmon, so I'm going to be able to look and just grab the KingSuka into my hand from the Sukamon effect. I think there's also a Pugmon, but play this KingSuka and just turn him into a Sukamon again, just for the sake of it. And we play out this last turn to see if there was anything that he can do to just win the game. And obviously he has enough checks to just do it, but there could be something in security that would have just delayed it for that 1 extra turn. He goes into another WarGreymon, and he's got heaps of memory to work with anyway. He's going to be able to raid into the KingSukamon, pierce for a check, and it's the Pride Memory Boost. He swings in for the other one, and then he can just swing for game with the one that I turned into a Sukamon.
What? I see this as an absolute win.